welcome to our vlog, Travel With Us. I'm Julie.
I'm Warren.
We've been married about 25 years now, and during that time I've traveled to 27 countries and Warren's been to 30. We currently live on the beautiful beach of Cape Canaveral, Florida, and the weather here is absolutely gorgeous nearly year-round. One would ask, why would we leave this area? Well, we love to travel.
Yeah, Julie and I both have a love for travel, experiencing new cultures, meeting new people. We've been to a lot of different places and enjoyed every moment we've been abroad, and we've longed to go back, and we hatched a plan to try to retire as early as possible so that we could leave our normal life and travel the world nonstop.
We are so excited to announce we're about to start a new phase of our lives where we will travel the world for the next 10 to 20 years. We won't be alone, however. You might even see one behind us, but we'll be taking our dogs Gracie and Katie. Gracie is currently a 15-year-old Chihuahua, and Katie will be 9 very soon, and she's our Chorky, which is half Chihuahua, half
Yorkie.
Yorkie.
Half Chorky, or is that not half Chorky? It's a half Yorkie, half Chihuahua, making her a Chorky.
We also really want you to travel with us, so please subscribe so you know when we post a new video.
As you can probably tell, we're pretty much amateurs at the YouTube creating videos at this point. We expect to improve as time goes along, so we hope that you're going to stay with us as our skills evolve and as we start our journeys and as we move around not the country, but around the world. So officially, I'm going to retire on March 9th. I'll be 52 at that point. And then we'll begin our journey. We'll be posting different videos between now and that time as we prepare to leave the country. We'll be looking at different topics and things for us to post videos about. Due to some requests I've had prior to posting any videos at all, I'll probably make a couple videos about how we got here financially as far as investing and how we intend to make income to sustain us as we travel abroad and move around the world.
Our travels will typically include a month or longer stay somewhere, especially with our dogs. We also want to experience the culture, live like a local, and really examine the real cost of living and pass that information on to our subscribers.
Now, of course, we will also do the typical tourist stuff as well, so we'll be out there trying to learn about people, probably try to talk to some of the locals as we come across people. Maybe they'll be our waiter or a bartender or somebody that we meet out there on the streets, but we'll try to make some friends with people, and hopefully they'll be entertaining for you to meet, and that they can provide us with some great information about their country, their culture, and why you should visit or possibly retire there. Our first leg of our trip is going to actually be in South America. We're going to spend 9 months in South America, and out of that 9 months we're going to start off in Cuenca, Ecuador, and we'll be there potentially 3 to 6 months as that is a home base, and then we'll be moving around to other places around South America as well, and we'll probably do some side trips. At the end of 2020 or early 2021, we'll be off to Europe to spend 5 to 10 years there. And we'll expect to use Ecuador, Montenegro as our home base, or Montenegro as a country. And that's where we'll keep our stuff and allow us to leave the Schengen Zone, which makes up most of Europe. And we'll talk a little bit more about that later. And I'll probably make a standalone video regarding the Schengen Zone as well.
You might wonder why we chose Cuenca, Ecuador as our first stop. Well, I can tell you, it is one of the most popular countries that Americans are retiring to stretch their dollar. It has been for several years. It's probably the most popular location in Ecuador for its expat population, and it's one of the safest locations in Ecuador to date, which is one of the safest countries in South America. It's known as the land of perpetual spring, and at 8,000 feet in the Andes, the weather is almost always in the 60s or low 70s. We are somewhat looking forward to that as we are used to the 90s most of the year. We're also planning to make trips to the coast, which would be part of Salinas, the Amazon, and many cities within Ecuador, especially Quito.
Yeah, so now it's going to be a little bit till we get to Ecuador. We've done a lot of our own research on Ecuador, and we're feeling really, really comfortable about that decision to start our international journeys and using that as our hub. Again, we'll be bringing our dogs with us, and so we've got a place that we have an Airbnb where we're going to have a place for them to be able to stretch out, and it's going to be pet friendly. And so as we travel, trying to find a pet friendly place is going to be important for us. Now, if you are curious about Ecuador, and before we get down to Ecuador, which will be a few months from now, there's a couple that do some great videos on YouTube, Amelia and JP. So I would tell you to go ahead and you can search for Amelia and JP if you're curious to get some in-depth information on Cuenca, Ecuador, prior to us coming down there or getting down there to make our videos. They're a great resource, and we're looking forward to meeting up with them once we get to Cuenca. So we'll be visiting other countries when we're in South America as well. Possibly we'll go to Peru. Love to see Machu Picchu potentially. If we can get to Bolivia to see the salt flats there. Argentina. Colombia is probably going to be our last country. We're contemplating spending some time in Cartagena before we come back to the U.S. for a short period of time to see my son as he graduates from college, and then we'll be off to Europe. Now, if you have ideas about where we should go or what we should do when we're in South America or Ecuador or anywhere in the world for that matter, please make comments below. We'd love to get your input and ideas about where we should go and what we should do, and if you've got any curiosity questions. As far as when we leave America and we go to Europe, which we expect to be there at late December 2020 or early January 2021, we'll be using Montenegro as our location, as our hub. We'll be sending our stuff there as far as having some extra clothes and having a little bit more to work with. But we'll probably spend anywhere from 2 to 4 months in Montenegro. And the reason we've chose Montenegro as a place to make our hub is they are outside of what's known as the Schengen Zone. And I'll probably make a more in-depth video about the Schengen Zone in the future. But the Schengen Zone is a group of 26 countries that make up most of Europe. And if you think about the United States, how you can travel from Arizona to Texas and there's no borders in between, and you can just drive as you would like to, or you're driving from New York and you're going to go down to Virginia, you're going to be able to cross state lines without having any concerns as an American. Well, in the Schengen Zone, people in those 26 countries can drive across each other's borders, work in each other's countries, and they do not have to show ID or go through a border checkpoint between those countries. However, if you're an American, you can only be in the Schengen Zone 90 days out of every 180. So that means you've got to leave the Schengen Zone to be able to stay in Europe. You've got to go somewhere that's not part of the Schengen. So the United Kingdom is not part of the Schengen. Ireland is not part of the Schengen. Croatia currently is not. Romania currently is not, and Bulgaria currently is not. Those three last countries are trying to join the Schengen. But Montenegro is not part of the Schengen. It's a beautiful country. It's got a great cost of living, great climate, a lot to do, gives you a very Western European feel with the Eastern European price. So we plan on using Montenegro as our place to go to leave the Schengen zone. So it's not just as simple as leaving France and going to Spain and starting your clock over. You actually have to leave the zone, the entire 26 countries, to go somewhere else and spend some time before you can come back and spend another 90 days inside of the Schengen zone. So if you're planning on trying to do what we're doing and traveling around Europe in the future, and you are trying to stay in multiple countries for lengths of time, you're going to want to see who's in the Schengen zone and who is not. The UK is a good option for many Americans. You can spend 6 months in the UK without a problem. With us having pets and traveling with our dogs, that puts a little bit different wrinkle. Some countries when we travel into, we'll have to have different shots or different expectations to bring our dogs into the country. So Montenegro is going to be the best option for us. And so you'll probably see us in and out of Montenegro, but our goal is to spend about a month in various locations, various countries. So maybe we'll spend a month in Warsaw and a month in Krakow. Maybe we'll go spend a month in Kiev, and we'll travel around and spend time in different places. Sometimes maybe multiple cities within the same country, or sometimes different countries at various times. But we're hoping that you're going to find our travels of interest, and that you're going to want to join us and be part of our adventures. So if you would, please subscribe to our channel and be around for our next videos. And again, I hope we get more polished as we go forward and make new videos. We appreciate you watching, and we'll look forward to hopefully having you tune in. And again, please leave comments about ideas of where we should go or what we should do. And as we travel around the world, if you are in any of the countries we may be going to and you want to meet up in the future, we would love to have those local contacts. So again, thank you from Julie and I for joining us, and we invite you to travel with us. Thank you.